Optimus Prime here. I'm back with more stuff. I don't know how to go intro. I don't know what intro to do. So, last video, I reviewed the 2007 Decepticons from the Studio Series. We're going film by film, and now we're on to Revenge of the Fallen figures. The film that kind of started the hate for this series. Oof. This video will not feature any of the Constructicons. They're getting their own separate videos. I'm sorry, I said videos. It's gonna be a three-parter. It's gonna be interesting. This is just the figures from Studio Series that aren't Constructicons from Revenge of the Fallen. I can't English good, but that's the best you're gonna get. About four and a half figures. Yeah, let's say that. So, yep, all leading up to the next wave of Studio Series. The new wave of Studio Series coming out this year in October. And this is part 3 of the full review. So, let's start off with the first figure. Number 5, the Optimus Prime. A figure I do not own and will never own because there's really no point in owning it. It is very much obsolete. I mean, the figure's fine. It's a fine figure. Just the chest is inaccurate, and there are certain things like the colors are very blech. It's the best I can say, blech. But it's just so obsolete because, well, we have the number 32 Optimus, which basically does everything that number 5 Optimus does, but better, and it does more. Which I think I said in the video for this guy. So it's like, it's just a case of this is just better, and thankfully I didn't have the number 5 Optimus when this was revealed, so I knew what to get this instead of number 5 Optimus, and I'm glad I did. Number 5 Optimus is fine. It does have the arm blades, and I would really love those arm blades. Can't find them anywhere, just the blades. I'd have to get the whole figure, and it's not really worth $30. But, I mean, it's still not a fine figure. I mean, I can't really judge, like, how, like, I can't really judge it, like, has, you know, a figure I've held in my hands, because I've never freaking seen it in person. I never touched the dang thing. So, all I can say is, it looks fine, and I've just heard good things about it. Just, the chest is inaccurate, and it's just made obsolete by this dude. That's really all I can say, so I give it a 6 out of 10. It's just obsolete. It doesn't even matter in the long run. So, yeah, that's really unfortunate, to be honest. So, that's number 5 Optimus, the only figure that in this video that I don't own. So, let's just move on to number 13, Megatron. Yes, the king himself. And this figure is really cool. This was probably one of the best and most accurate figures in 2018 of, for Studio Series, and for good reason. It's a very good figure. It definitely pulls off the Revenge of the Fallen design very well, even better than the on-screen model. It's the same case with the excuse me, the number 6 Starscream from the first film. I don't really like the movie design very much, but the toy makes it look good. The toy looks better than the actual movie design for Revenge of the Fallen Megatron as well. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It is just cast in a dull gray plastic, which sucks because, like, the promotional images did kind of make it look all shiny and silver, and it does have a kind of like a shine to it. It's kind of metallic, like a metallic gray, but it's still like a light gray. If you look at it from far away, it's definitely not as shiny. It's like on up close, and you get the like a light reflecting off of it. It does look much nicer when you have the light reflecting off of it. The head sculpt is very nice. Love the head sculpt. Hasbro nails the head sculpts. And the detail on this figure is very good. Love this little fusion cannon here. I think it's pretty good. He does have a weird, like, he has like an extra little finger on here, and I don't know what that's for. I don't know what that's all about, but it's there. he has this hand. I do not like this. I never liked Megatron's long, creepy fingers. And, gosh, man, trim your freaking fingernails. Yeah, and they are articulated. They're just two separate pieces on a hinge. So, yeah, it's there. And articulation is not the greatest, but with the design, yeah, I didn't expect great articulation. And it's actually pretty decent in the foot, like, because you get this wicked ankle pivot. It's honestly really freaking cool. And, yes, and the freaking back of the figure is absolutely amazing. It's perfect. It's completely clean. I think it's incredible. And yes, if you turn him on the side, lift his arms up, you can see right through him. But the thing is, you put the arms down, you don't really notice. The only way you can actually make it obvious is if you literally lift his arms up and pose him exactly to the side. That's the only way it's obvious. You pose him to the side and flip the arms down, it's not even that obvious then. Display at any other angle, and you won't really notice. So it's not that big a deal. It really only look bad, like it'll only look like that if you just display them like that. Which why would you? It's like displaying your figure like this. You're gonna display your figure facing the wall? No. And the figure doesn't come with any accessories. All he has is, but he does have the flip out blade from his Fusion Cannon, and that looks absolutely awesome. Very nice molding and sculpting. It is a softer plastic, but it doesn't like bend in ways that you don't like. So it looks nice. And it's really good. The vehicle mode is also really good. It's just the wheels don't always line up on the ground, so it's like it doesn't roll very well. And getting there can be a bit of a chore, but it's not a huge problem. Especially since, you know, both modes are really good. One thing to mention, it's also about the previous Megatron that I didn't bring up, and that's the chests on these are exactly the same, but this one came first, so technically this one is taking the chest from this. Not a huge problem. I mean, they both pull it off really well, so I don't really care. And here he is next to Optimus. Pretty dang cool. It'd be cool if it'd be even cooler if you can, you know, like have like a gap in Optimus' chest for Megatron to shove his sword through. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So overall, articulation's good. It's just a nice, good figure, and yeah, it could benefit from some blah blah blah. My mouth does just not want to work today. It could benefit from some silver paint, and yes, they could fix this hollow gap, but those are kind of nitpicks because again, this is not very noticeable unless you literally display it like this. And the silver isn't really that big a deal, especially since it's a shinier gray, because it could just be a dull gray that like doesn't have it. It's just nothing. It's pretty good. The way the feet transform, I thought, I really like it. I think this is a pretty good figure, and I definitely recommend picking it up. It was the first Megatron in the toy line, and I think it is still one of the better ones. I still think the 2007 version is the best Studio Series Megatron, but this comes in second place. And of course, Dark of the Moon one is the weakest in my opinion, but we'll get to that in a couple videos from now. We'll get to that into the, I think, part 5? Yeah, part 5, I think, is when we're going to get to that. So yeah, that's number 13, Megatron. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's really good, in my opinion. Next up is, once again, Starscream. Told you we were gonna get this guy. I told you this in the last video, and it's pretty good, but the robot mode is really, the colors are freaking weird. Like, all this, like, dark gray just does not work with the more tan color. Like, it just doesn't look the greatest. I mean, I like the extra Cybertronian tattoos, which are more prominent in the Jet mode, which looks great. The Jet mode is honestly the best mode of this figure. So much so that I prefer it, the Jet mode, over the 2007 version. Just the robot mode, I think the 2007 version is better. So if I had to pick, I'd say I'd pick the robot mode of the 2007 version and the Jet mode of the Revenge of the Fallen version. And the figures are basically the same. The only difference is weapons. If you watched my last video, then you should know how the weapon connects to Starscream, but instead of being a missile launcher, this time it's the Buzzsaw, which I think did make its appearance in Revenge of the Fallen, but I could be wrong. It does spin fairly freely, made of a translucent, orangish, yellowish plastic. It's pretty dang cool. It basically does everything the missile launcher does when it comes to, like, plugging it into the arm and weapon storage and all that stuff. Head sculpt is, once again, really good, really nice. Hasbro, once again, nailed it. And transformation's still fun, it's still perfectly fine. The only thing I say is the robot mode colors look a little meh. But they do basically just disappear in the jet mode, and leaving you with all the nice tan and all the Cybertronic tattoos. It just makes it look really awesome. And like I said, the jet mode is just really cool looking. If I had to choose, like I said, I choose this figure's robot mode, this figure's jet mode. That's what I'd say. I really can't say much more about this guy. I mean, it's just this, but Revenge of the Fallen. So that's basically all I'm gonna say. It's this, but it's. I give this thing another 8 out of 10. It's just like the other Starscream. It's pretty dang good. So I figure I'm gonna skip ahead. I'm gonna do the latest Revenge of the Fallen figures that aren't Constructicons next, before I do the best one. So these are the RC Chromia and Elita 1 3-pack. So first we'll start off with RC. RC is looking pretty nice in her pink, and these are really tiny. Like, here's the Voyager class Megatron, for example. They're pretty dang tiny. And, you know, I don't think that's a problem, but it is there. Which does make it a miracle of engineering how they actually managed to make them look so accurate. And the heads are basically all the same, so I can just say it once if the camera will focus on it. And it will not, but I'm just gonna say it, the head sculpts are pretty nice, especially for being so incredibly small, and they pack a lot of detail, which is nice. RC is pink. I don't remember her being pink in the movie. I thought she was red, but hey, if she's pink, she's pink. I'm good with that. Looking pretty good, pretty accurate. She got the gun here, and she does have this extra gun that you can put over her arm. I don't really like the extra accessories they come with. You get this extra gun that you can plug over her other arm, and yeah. And the Chromia stuff, where is it? There's this one, and where's the other one? There it is. Didn't even think to grab these, but there's this piece that plugs onto the shoulder for some reason. I don't know. And this claw piece that can plug onto either RC or Chromia's big arm blasters. However, I mean, the colors only work for little figure stands, because they do come with little stands that they can actually, you know, stand. I mean, the big pink cannon only works for RC, and the blue claw and shoulder pad only works for Chromia in terms of colors. But for some reason, these extra accessories only work for RC and Chromia and not Elita 1. It's kind of weird. Either way, I don't really display them with these. I just put these off to the side and forget they even exist. Next up is Chromia, who I think is probably one of the better ones. She's very simple, and that's perfectly fine. She has a nice cannon that fell okay. Note to self, don't hold them by the figure stands. I think it looks pretty decent. You got the wheel up there, the head sculpt is pretty nice. I do like the blue, and it looks pretty dang nice. She does have a very thin stand, but it's fine. And then we get to the wonkiest one, and that's Elita 1. Now, first of all, just the wheels right here as her hand, I don't get what that's about. Then we get this thing, I have no clue what this is. And that's basically it. That's wonky, except, you know, she's also the tallest of the three. Like, I put them all side by side and transformed them properly. She's the tallest. The purple is very nice. I do like the purple. Head sculpt's the same as the others. It's really nice, I will admit. Yeah, I think it's a fine figure. It just, again, it doesn't work with the extra accessories that come with them. They don't work on Elita 1. Just RC and Chromia. It's very weird. But yeah, that's the three of them, and they just fell over again. These things like to fall over a lot. There's one problem with the figure stands, especially Chromia's. They like to fall over a bunch. I think Chromia could have used some like outward little struts to kind of keep her from toppling over one side, because Chromia is the real culprit. Like Elita 1 and an RC, they don't really have that problem. It's really just Chromia, so that could have been a lot better. Overall, they're not perfect. They are very flawed, and they could have been so much better, honestly. But I get with the scale, it's kind of just not. It wasn't really that possible. So I'm not gonna get too mad about it, but it is definitely a problem. I will say it is definitely a problem, and yeah, it's just and there is like a fan mode where they can combine. It's cool and all, but I'm probably never gonna do it. Overall, I give them a 6 out of 10. They're not that great. So, last figure, home stretch. This is the best Studio Series figure ever. Jetfire, I don't think I need to explain anything. Jet mode, awesome. This thing is big. This thing has a presence, and I think it's probably like this is the biggest Studio Series figure so far. Not counting Devastator. Devastator doesn't count because he's a bunch of guys slapped together. Devastator doesn't count. This is the biggest Studio Series figure by far. He has the biggest box. Like this is actually the biggest box of all Studio Series figures. I checked. This thing just feels right and just super accurate. Basically no kibble. The only problem I can find is that the hands don't close. So he's like holding the axe just like this. And they think that's the only. And that his head is just kind of peeking down right there in the vehicle mode. That's the only flaws I can find. He does merge with the number 32 Optimus. I'm not going to show that right now because I don't feel like editing that out. But it is a thing you can do. Maybe I'll show it some other time. But let me tell you, this thing is so great. The head sculpt, once again, is freaking phenomenal. It is just it's so great. It's so amazing. It's just, it's so great. I don't think I can say anything else other than it's great. Articulation's good. You got ankle pivots, wrist swivels. It's just so good. It's so cool. And like the actual like engine bits right there, the turbines that end up actually being the leg. It's just so cool. Like the cane is the actual landing gear. It's just, this thing is so awesome. And though it isn't, and yeah, it's no competitor to the G1 Siege counterpart, but that's because this thing is just the best thing ever. But this thing is still awesome. Easily the best Studio Series figure ever. I give this thing a 9 out of 10. Maybe, I'm giving him a 9.5 out of 10. Because, just wow. Just wow. This thing is amazing. This thing is definitely the best Studio Series figure of them all. Easily top of the list. It's just so incredible. So, yeah, that's basically all the Revenge of the Fallen figures that are out right now that aren't Constructicons. Constructicons have basically taken up most of the spots. The Decepticons have taken up a lot of space for that film. But since we're basically done with the Constructicons, we'll be done with the Constructicons come October, we're probably going to get more of just the regular characters from Revenge of the Fallen, which I'm all for. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm excited for that. I want Sideways and Jolt. I want them. Yes. This honestly is kind of cool. Like, there's not much, so it was a very small review, but I'm okay with that. So, yeah, other than that, I'd say they're good. The weakest one is definitely the RC Chromia Elita 1 3-pack. The best one, easily Jetfire, and Megatron and Starscream are both also really good. So overall, it's pretty good, honestly. I think I don't think RC Chromia Elita 1 are bad, but they need a lot of work. They could use some work. But Jetfire's phenomenal. Starscream and Megatron are both really good. I'd say pick these up. Definitely pick up Jetfire if you can. And if you're gonna pick up Jetfire, I definitely also recommend picking up the number 32 Optimus or picking up the number 44 Optimus. It's up there somewhere in my collection. And Jetfire does come up with an extra like ab piece, like because they have the removable ab pieces for Optimus for him to actually combine with the number 32 Optimus, because it's the same thing as this figure but slightly different. There's some differences like in the ab piece. But yeah, that's basically it. They're all pretty good, honestly. I'd say they're really good. Definitely worth buying, and yeah, I think there's really nothing else to say other than good job, Hasbro. So, yeah, that was the Revenge of the Fallen figure. So next time I'll be going over the Dark of the Moon Autobots. Well, that should be very fun. So, this is Revenge of the Fallen Studio Series figures. I'm Optimus Prime, signing out.